Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. I welcome you here today with great pleasure and with great anticipation because with this press briefing, we begin to publicize an unprecedented series of activities and events in celebration of 50 years of conservation by the National Parks Trust of the Virgin Islands. That's right. The National Parks Trust of the Virgin Islands will be 50 years old in November, making it one of the oldest of its kind in the region. We will kick off the anniversary year with a full week of activities, and you will hear about these shortly. It is an honor and privilege for me to serve as chairperson of the board of the National Parks Trust during this important milestone in the history. And I know I speak for the other board members when I extend all congratulations to the current director of the trust, Joseph Smith Abbott, and his team. The trust was established by the government of the day in 1961 as the agency responsible for the territory's parks. But at its inception, there was only one park in its portfolio, Sage Mountain. Sage Mountain, the highest point in the Virgin Islands, and the location of 68 acres of the last remaining remnant of moist forest, is thus our oldest park, closely followed by the stunning Devil's Bay. In the 1970s, several more areas were designated as national parks and added to the national park system. These included Falling Jerusalem, the J.R. O'Neill Botanical Gardens, which is where we are today, and the Queen Elizabeth II Park, of which you will also hear more about later. Slowly, the number of national parks grew, and the National Parks Trust is now responsible for 21 national parks, ranging from those with historical importance, such as Mount Healthy and the HMS Wreck of the Road, to those of critical environmental importance, such as West Dog National Park. But the work of the National Parks Trust extends beyond national parks. The Trust is one of the leading agencies helping to preserve the territory's biodiversity, a role that is crucial to our society's sustainability. Over the years of its existence, the Trust has worked to identify the indigenous flora and fauna of the territory, the living things that are unique to the Virgin Islands, and to protect them. It was through the work of the Trust that parts of Anegada have been offered protection under the International Ramsar Convention due to the importance of preserving indigenous species like the Anegada rock iguana. Were it not for the work of the Trust, the iguana might have become extinct and the Virgin Islands would have lost a special species that in turn makes the Virgin Islands special by its uniqueness. Similarly, it was the work of the Trust's first chairman, Joseph Reynolds O'Neill, who worked tirelessly to effect the reforestation of Sage Mountain, which resulted in thousands of mahoganies and other trees being planted at the park in the 1960s and 1970s. Arbor Day, started by Mr. O'Neill in the 1950s, is now a popular fixture in the territory's calendar. Many of the beautifully spreading trees planted around Roetown and in various areas of the territory were planted as part of the Arbor Day celebrations decades ago. Without the work of the Trust, the beautiful flamingos that now make Anegada their home would never have been seen again in these parts. The scarlet-hued flamingos were once a common sight on that island, but had died out for various reasons. It was a Trust-led effort in the early 1990s that resulted in flamingos being brought here from Bermuda, and now they are one of the island's premier attractions. In fact, when you think of the Virgin Islands, when you think of some of the iconic sites and landmarks of our territory, chances are that you are thinking of one of the stunning places that come under the responsibility of the Trust. The towering boulders of the Barks, the tranquility of the Botanical Gardens, the tragedy of the wreck of the Rhone, the ruins of the copper mine, and the windmill at Mount Healthy. These places tell the story of the Virgin Islands and its people. They are embedded in our national consciousness and have shaped our national identity. In a very real sense, they also identify us to our visitors, who, once having seen a picture of the Barks of Virgin Gorda, will ever forget it. Can visitors to the copper mine resist imagining the lives of the Cornish men and the Virgin Guardians who worked it? The Parks of the National Trust tell our story as Virgin Islands people, and in doing so, establish our national identity while making us readily identifiable to others. Clearly then, 50 years of conservation by the Trust must be recognized and celebrated in a big way. So today, you will hear exactly how we intend to mark this occasion. I will now like to introduce to you the Director of the National Parks Trust, Mr. Joseph Smith Abbott.
Members of the press, good afternoon. As the Director of the National Parks Trust, during its 50th anniversary, I am very pleased and honored to welcome you to this press briefing and to detail for you all of the exciting activities the Trust has planned during this celebratory week from the 20th to the 27th of November of this year. Events open on the 20th of November with an opening ceremony at the Joseph Reynolds O'Neill Botanic Gardens, current location, prior to the start of the 9th annual Flower Show. The Flower Show will feature garden competitions, an arts and crafts competition, a photography competition, and of course, the floral competitions. And we urge and encourage everyone to participate in those. As usual, there will be a range of entertainment activities, but performers and artists and others scheduled to appear at the Flower Show include Razor Blades, Fungi Band, the St. George's Liturgical Dancers, the Junior Heritage Dancers, members of Purple Dragon, HLSEC Poetry Club, and the Callaloo Poets. Attendants will also be able to sample local foods while enjoying the face painting and floral arranging, as well as horticultural demonstrations. After the Flower Show is over, the focus of the anniversary activities will move to the Queen Elizabeth II National Park, where from the 23rd to the 27th of November, the Trust will host its ever first National Parks Trust Village, composed of environmentally aware exhibitors from the public as well as the private sectors. Confirmed participants so far include the Department of Agriculture, Green Virgin Islands, and the Fishing Complex. Others will follow. The village will open every day at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we expect to welcome several of the territory schools as well as the general public. While the focus of the daily activities will be on the exhibitors and the educational and informational displays, as well as the presentations, by early evening, there will also be entertainment, which will be an integral component of the village with a lot of local musicians, and that portion of the program will continue until 8 o'clock in the evening. On the weekend of the 26th and 27th of November, the village will hit its stride with the start of what we hope will be the Trust's annual concert series featuring local, regional, and international artists. Money raised through the concert series will go towards funding the reconstruction of the Queen Elizabeth II National Park, which was designated as a national park in 1974, and therefore is one of the oldest parks in the system of protected areas. Money from the concert series will lead to the phased and incremental restoration of the park as of the year 2012. On Saturday, 26th November, the music will start with our own very own Quito Rhymer and The Edge, and will continue with Arturo O'Farrell's Grammy-winning Afro-Cuban Jazz Orchestra. The headliner on Saturday will be the former UB40 lead singer, Mr. Ali Campbell. UB40 has sold over 70 million records worldwide and has 4 #1 worldwide hit singles. On Sunday, the music continues with the HLSCC Jazz Ensemble, led by Andre Brathwaite, and composed of HLSCC students, faculty, and professionals. The ensemble will then be followed by Blue Essence Band, which is composed of 5 of the territory's top musicians. And the headliner, we're very proud of this, on Sunday will be the 9-time Grammy Award winner and singer, songwriter, Mr. John Legend, who was declared one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people. As you can imagine, we are very excited about the anniversary week and about the MPT Village and the entertainment lineup. We anticipate the legacy of our 50th anniversary celebrations to be the rehabilitation and the restoration, ultimately, of the Queen Elizabeth II National Park, and we expect to be able to make that park one of the territory's premier green spaces and a huge attraction for residents and visitors alike. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask you if you have any questions about anything that we would have said at this time.
Can you tell us who's funding this events of the 50th anniversary? Which exactly is being funded into this?
Well, the funding primarily is coming from a combination of private donations as well as money from the trust. The overall cost is in the hundreds of thousands.
Below 500?
Below.
Over 300?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure. Approximation, I would say it's probably in the range of 200,000 to 300,000. Well, no, 300,000 or so, in excess of 300,000, I would say. Certainly, the appeal. There's a broad-based appeal to all businesses, and to really individuals, not only businesses but individuals to contribute. And there's the response so far in terms of the support leading up to this has been tremendous from both the public sector as well as the private sector. As you can imagine, an event of this scale requires quite a considerable amount of resources, which would go beyond those that are immediately available to the trust. So we're very grateful indeed to both the public and the private sector, and that will actually be formally recognized as we go along as well. So although we're starting with this event today, certainly there will be a lot more information about the different contributions that are being made towards making this hopefully a success. Well, certainly, like I said, the event will start here on the 20th, and really, again, this week combines both traditional as well as the new events, as I alluded to in the remarks, and the flower show being really postponed from earlier in the year when we anticipated having it. We had to postpone it because of rain. We felt it appropriate to open the week with the flower show, not to really cancel it, but postpone it and defer it until now, and we anticipate doing so now and on the 20th, and then really encouraging people to visit Queen Elizabeth Park. I will share with you that Queen Elizabeth Park certainly is one of the most popular parks that we currently manage, mostly a children's park, and we anticipate, obviously, and we're very excited about the prospect of really making accessible and open the larger park. And I think that the important thing to bear in mind here is the fact that the development of that park will really be driven by the contributions, by the people's involvement in all of these activities as contributions, and the ticket sales and the sort will go towards developing that. The tickets are going to be $40 for adults, $30 for children. For the 2 weekend evenings, the 26th and the 27th.
Mr. Smith, the park currently isn't so welcoming to residents. What are some of the things you have to do to get it ready in time? Because it's high up.
Yes, that's a fair question. Like I said, I mean, it will take, and it has taken, a considerable amount of effort, both internally and really from a lot of the members of the public sector and the private sector to prepare the grounds. Beyond just the preparation of the grounds, which include also really grading the facility, the grounds themselves. We also anticipate establishing really tents as well as support systems to obviously host all of the individuals, and that will include building up the village as proper, of course, establishing and setting up all of the tents. It will include, of course, all of the facilities that are required in order to sustain and allow for people to safely enjoy what we anticipate to be a family event. This is really designed to really hold families on the day. Most of the events on the weekend in particular, where we'll have UB40 as well as John Legend, will start anywhere around 2 o'clock and we'll end the day, the evening, around 10:30 or so.
When do you anticipate, at least hopefully a projected time that the park would actually be completed and, have your opening and whatever?
So you are now alluding to after we would have done some kind of work out of the proceeds of the event. I think that everyone can appreciate the fact that because the park in its current state will need some work, and based on the proceeds, really, that will drive a lot of what we can realistically do within the first few months, a year or so. But certainly the goal is to have the grounds minimally be restored and usable as an open green space. You will note from the packages given that the vision really is to have trails, gazebos, to have the older children's playground built, and along with restrooms, running trails, walking trails, etc. So it's really to create ultimately an open space within the town area to complement the children's park, which was also funded through private donations as well. If there are no other questions, I would like to again thank you very much for coming. And certainly, like I stated, this is not going to be the last that you'll hear from us in terms of the events as things progress and we begin to roll out additional details. Those will be available on the website, or we will work very closely with colleagues at GIS to make known other details as they come along. Thank you very much.